Okay, so now a truly new piece of information for stage 18. We have the final two declensions in Latin. Now the good news is that these declensions are pretty rare. There are very few words that actually use them. Some more good news is that you'll notice some similarities. So for the fourth declension, which is almost all masculine, there's the nominative singular is US, which we've seen before in the second declension. The genitive is an accented US. The dative is a U with an accented I. We've seen an accented I in the dative before in the third declension. Accusative is UM, which is nice. Ablative is an accented U. We've seen accented vowels in the ablative singular several times before. Nominative accented US, which is pretty annoying because it's the same as the genitive singular. Genitive is UM. Dative is ibus, which and the accusative, the dative and the ablative plural are both ibus, which is something we've seen in the third declension. All right, fifth declension, we have in the nominative singular and the nominative plural and the accusative plural accented ES. Genitive and dative singular are both E and with an accented I. Accusative is EM, which is nice. We've seen that in the third declension. Ablative is an accented E. Genitive plural, we have arum. This is nice. In the first and the second declension, we have arum and aurum for the genitive plural. So lots of similarities that we see between the fourth and fifth declension when comparing them to the first, second, and third declensions, but they are still new. You will want to get these memorized and so that you can recognize them when you see them. Here are two examples. So one for the fourth declension, one for the fifth declension. This is what it looks like. This is what the endings look like when they are applied to a word. So pause for a moment, write these down, start digesting them, start memorizing these endings. Okay, so let's look at them in action. Let's look at some sentences. Pause the video for a moment, write down these sentences, draw arrows from any adjectives or possessives to their antecedents, put parentheses around the prep phrases. There are no relative clauses, so don't worry about that, but then go back and label every S, DO, IO, and verb. All right, so in portu Alexandriae erant multi naves. Portu here is our fourth declension noun. Alexandriae is genitive, so we're going to want to put that towards portu. Before we do that though, let's do our adjective first. So multi is an adjective, and it could be a couple of different things. It could be genitive singular, it could be nominative plural. The only noun next to it is this one right here, naves, and so that one right there makes it be nominative plural, because naves can be nominative plural, it can also be accusative plural. So both, what these two have in common is that they can both be nominative plural, therefore they most likely are. Alexandriae, which I referenced just a moment ago, this is genitive. This AE here, by the ending in and of itself, could also be nominative plural, but we wouldn't have multiple Alexandrias. So we can assume that this is genitive singular. The AE can also be dative singular, but that wouldn't make any sense at all because we have a linking verb here. You only have indirect objects with action verbs. Okay, so it is possessing the port. Remember, possessives can only be possessing other nouns. This is the only other noun next to it. All right, so then in the port of Alexandria is our prep phrase. This is an imperfect linking verb. Naves, as we said earlier, was nominative, so that's our subject. So there were many ships in the port of Alexandria. All right, this sentence, Sacerdotes effigiem in rogum possuerunt. Okay, so sacerdotes, this es ending here is from the third declension. It could be nominative plural, it could be accusative plural. So let's look at what else we have going on in the sentence. Effigiem can only be accusative singular, so this is our direct object, forcing this to be our subject. And let's confirm, if we have a plural subject, we need a plural verb. And indeed, we do have a plural verb. And this right here is our prep phrase. So this would read, the priests placed the statue on the funeral pyre. All right, tumultus ne in hoc urbe quotidiae videis. So tumultus is our actual word. Ne, again, is just a little word that attaches itself onto the first word of the sentence, letting you know that you're entering a question. So the actual word that we're looking at here is tumultus. Tumultus is a fourth declension neuter noun. So this us here could be a couple of different things. It could be nominative singular, it could be accusative singular. So in order to figure that out, we need to look around for other clues. Do we have another accusative in here? The answer is no, because these words right here are all part of the prep phrase. This right here is an adverb. So then we need to look at our verb. What is the subject of this verb? We have the verb ending in S. That means the subject of this verb is you. Therefore, if the subject is you, that forces this over here to be actually our direct object. It's going to be the accusative form. Oh, we need to connect hoc to urbe. Hoc we have seen for many stages. However, we haven't officially learned it yet, as in you haven't memorized it. So you may need to look this up in the back of the book, look at the charts, and see that this is ablative singular feminine. So it is modifying urbe, which is also ablative singular feminine. All right, so back to our labeling. Tumultus, accusative, therefore it's our direct object. Quotidiae is an adverb, it means every day. And then videis is our present tense verb. So, do you see a crowd every day in this city? All right, servi fustes in manibus tenebat. Servi, it ends in an I. That can be a couple different things. It could be nominative plural, could be genitive singular. So let's look at our verb. Our verb is plural. So most likely this is nominative plural. Fustes could be nominative plural. It could be accusative plural. Considering that we have another noun in the sentence, which is most likely our subject, let's assume that this is our direct object, that it's the accusative. In manibus is a prep phrase. It's in plus the ablative. Ibus is our ablative plural ending. And we've got our imperfect verb. So the slaves were holding clubs in their hands. All right, pueri nomina dierum recitant. Pueri, accented I here can be a couple of different things. In the second declension, it could be nominative plural, it could be genitive singular. So let's look at our verb. Our verb is plural. So most likely this is our subject. Most likely it's nominative plural. Nomina, this is a neuter noun, and this a, when it, according to the one of our neuter rules, could be nominative plural, it could be accusative plural. Considering that pueri is likely our subject, let's entertain the possibility that nomina is our direct object, so this would be accusative. Dierum is genitive. Arum, remember, is the fifth declension genitive plural. So this is, what is this possessing? Remember, genitives can only possess other nouns and they will be right next to it. To the right of dierum, we have a verb. It's not going to be possessing that. To the left of it, we have a noun, so it's most likely possessing that. Now let's go through and label. So the boys are our subject. The boys are reciting the names of the days. All right, last one we're going to do for this. Tabernarii clementi de impedibus narrabat. So the tabernarii, this accented I, again, it's from the second declension, so it can be two different things. It could be nominative plural, it could be genitive singular. We look at our verb is plural, so most likely this is our subject. Clementi, clementi ends in an accented I. You need to know that clemens is a third declension noun. So the accented I in the third declension means that it's dative singular. It's our indirect object. De impedibus, this is a prep phrase here. De plus the ablative. And then narrabant is our verb. It's imperfect and it is plural. So there are all of your labels. Remember, these three things moving forward, the neuter, nominative, and accusative are always the same. The neuter, nominative, and accusative plural are always A. Start working on memorizing your fourth and fifth declension endings. Salve to discipuli.